All right, hello everyone, and welcome to this session on the Natural Mathematical Sciences here at Ohio State. My name is Jen Beckley, and I run the STEM Scholars program here. So I have the luxury of working with students from pretty much every one of our STEM disciplines on campus. So before we get started on the College of Arts and Sciences presentation, I do just like to make sure that you have access to a few resources that you may need. So a lot of students are coming in with credit, whether that be examination credit or college credit from other universities. If you don't have this doesn't apply to you, please don't feel anxious or anything like that. All of our programs are actually designed for students coming in with zero beginning credit, whether that be, again, AP or college credit. So no worries there, but if you are coming in with that, the OSU examination credit website should be up on your screen now through the registrar. You can go there. That's for both IB and AP credit being the most common, but there are other ways you can get some credit that way too. So if you have this and you don't want to go through copying that website, you can just Google OSU AP credit. It'll be the first thing that pops up. Gotta love Google. But if you're also coming in with college credit from other universities, you will use transferology.com. It's the best resource we have. A lot of our advisors use it. I've used it as a student and as an advisor on campus. So I've never seen it be wrong, but I'm not going to guarantee that it won't be. But you can use that as well. So the one thing I want to point out before I show some screenshots from what you can expect is that if you have college credit from an OSU branch campus, that isn't going to be a transfer credit. That's just a credit you have through OSU. Our branch campuses are just as much a part of OSU as our main campus, so don't worry about that. So this is what you can expect to see from the AP or IB credit pages. So if you look at biology, it's a great example. You can see that if you get a 3 on the biology AP test, you're going to get one course. If you get a 5 on the biology AP test, you're actually going to get 2 courses. So the biology 1113 and biology 1114 credit. This is going to be really helpful when you're looking ahead. You will work with an advisor at orientation to schedule your classes. But if you're looking ahead, you can see kind of where you're coming in at, if maybe you have some of your general education done, or if you're going to be a little further ahead in your program requirements. So the College of Arts and Sciences, we'll go ahead and get started on that overview here. We are considered the academic heart of the university, and part of that is because of our size, because we are a very, very large college. But the major part of that is because we have a huge breadth of things that you can study here. So we have everything from math, physics, chemistry, biology, those STEM subjects you're used to and that you're probably interested in if you're here. But we also have things like African and African American studies or film or English, all under our umbrella. So that gives you a lot more flexibility in combining areas of interest or kind of taking advantage of customizing your education a little bit more because we are all under the same umbrella. So here are some statistics to read through. I do just like to point out we have over 80 majors and over 100 minors. So there's a lot to go through, and I'll show you a resource here in a second that'll help with that. But we have a lot to offer you as far as ways of tailoring your education to what you're actually interested in. I will also say 48% of all credit hours on campus are actually taught through us. So pretty much no one gets out of here without taking at least one class through the College of Arts and Sciences. And 86% of our classes actually have fewer than 50 students. So we have that stereotype of all large universities that our classes are huge and overwhelming. And I'm not going to lie to you, your introductory classes like biology, which is our largest major. So our biology classes are some of our largest, as well as chemistry, because so many people have to get into them. But even when you're in those larger classes with a lot of students, you are going to be registered for a recitation section. So you're going to be in a about 25-person class with a graduate student or a faculty member leading it, where you're going to get some more individualized attention. You're going to be able to ask your questions, talk through things a little bit more. So you are going to have that option. I have also, as a student here, as an undergraduate student at Ohio State a few years ago, I have had classes as few as 7 people. So both the large class and the super small class are going to be exceptions to the rule, but you aren't going to have these huge overwhelming classes your whole time here. So when you're looking through, we do have a fairly large percentage of underrepresented minority and first generation students here. And we do have a lot of resources aimed at making sure that there is equitable access to different resources, that you have the information you need. So first generation students are those whose parents don't have a bachelor's level degree. The discount, if your older siblings have it or your grandparents, it goes off of the parent. So if neither of your parents has a bachelor's level degree, you're actually considered first generation. And pretty much every university at this point has extra resources targeted to helping you and making sure that you understand the process, because this process is hard for everyone. So there is extra support there if you're interested in that. We do have 9% of our students actually choose to double major. So having such a large college with different things that you can study means that you have more flexibility in doing a double major. So that's 1 degree, 2 majors on it. You get a little bit more leeway in your general education and things of that nature. You do also have the option to dual degree, which is 2 bachelor's level degrees from different colleges, but you have to fulfill the entire program requirements. So it's going to take you more time to get through those. So it is a little bit of an advantage in the College of Arts and Sciences. 24% of our students choose to major and minor, and you don't have to choose a minor in your college. You can choose it from anywhere. It does, again, help round out that education or give you a little bit of a taste of something that maybe you're not getting from your home major. So that's an option as well. So here is that tool for exploring our majors, minors, and even our graduate programs go through here. So the website is going to be go.osu.edu/ASC-explore. So if you have a computer open, you might as well open another tab and go to this website and follow along. But if you're not on a computer, I do have some screen captures to show you what that will look like. So when you go to that page, this is what you're going to see. There's going to be a bunch of tiles. The green ones here are the ones that I've selected already, but go through and pick anything that you're interested in. Once you've got that, you'll select View Matches, and this is the type of thing that you'll see, but of course it's going to be customized to what you're interested in. So the first 3 that pop up are astronomy and astrophysics, physics, and atmospheric sciences. And you can see which of those areas of interest were actually matched down at the bottom there. So if you scroll through and you see something you're interested in, you can actually select that purple tile now, and it'll take you to a page about the major. So I picked physics here. It gives you an overview. It gives you some more information on the curricular requirements, things of that nature that can link you out. But probably the most valuable piece of information here is actually the red box with the academic advisor. So Lindsay is our academic advisor for physics. This is all of her contact information, whether you need to contact her now before you get here or once you're here. That's a way that you can find her information. Below that, you can also see related programs, facilities, things of that nature that may also be of interest to you. So here's a list of our natural mathematical science majors. So we have the big ones like biology, math, chemistry, all of that. But we also have ways that you can narrow things down. So you can, if you're interested in biology, but you're really interested in genetics, we have a molecular genetics major, as well as microbiology, zoology. You can really tailor it to what you're actually interested in. If you are someone who likes to combine both the mathematical reasoning, the problem solving, as well as communication and English, we have an integrated major in math and English as well. So that's a really great way that the university is listening to feedback and making sure that we're providing you with opportunities to learn the skills that you are actually going to need or that you want right now. So that's a good one. You'll also see down toward the bottom that pre-health actually has an asterisk by it. And the reason for that is that it is not a major. So if you are pre-dental, pre-vet, pre-med, you just have a list of courses that you need to achieve to get into those professional programs. But you can do that with any major. So biology, chemistry, and biochemistry tend to be the big 3 because they cover most of those courses already. But you can be a film major and still be pre-health as well. So take that under advisement and really pick something that you're interested in for your actual major. But then you can still have the opportunity to go to professional school afterward. So this is a couple of screenshots from the actuarial science page from the actual department website. So you can link out to that from those original sites that I just showed. But you'll see here that we list out the prerequisite courses as well as the major courses. So you have those all listed out. The reason I pick actuarial science is because it actually has exams that you have to take as well. So those are listed at the bottom. And additional to that, when you scroll down a little farther, you'll also see 4-year schedules, so sample schedules. That should be available for any one of our majors. So you'll see this is what it looks like if you spread the GEs out and you're actually going to be following things in prerequisite, requisite order. So if you say test into math a little bit lower than 1151, you know you're going to have to make up that extra courses before you take that. And you have to look at the prerequisites or what math 1151 is a prerequisite for. But if you're coming in with some AP credits or something of that nature, you may be a little further ahead, and so you can see how you can shift things around. The reason GE is just listed as GE is because we actually have a lot of different options for you. So you can link out, there is a link to see our general education requirements if you want to look and see, one, what those requirements are, and two, the hundreds of classes that you can take to fulfill those. So let's talk about facilities. So the Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering and Chemistry building, we abbreviate everything, so we call it CBEC. It's a pretty interesting building in that in a sea of older brick buildings that you expect to see in a science part of campus, it's actually floor-to-ceiling glass windows. And on the first floor, there is an LED lights display. It's actually an art installation. So this building is really designed to be a collaborative space. So yes, the windows do moderate temperatures so that it's a more sustainable building, but also it allows you to see across into offices and to look down into labs and things of that nature so that you're encouraged to work across different projects as well as across different colleges because we have the engineering and the arts and sciences in that building. So there are over 400 researchers and engineers there. There's also a great student lounge where you can see a pretty good view of campus on the top floor. The high energy density physics Scarlet Laser facility, that's one where, yes, they're doing physics research. They're able to do things like probe high density matter with the lasers, but you can also shorten the pulse duration of the lasers and do biological and chemical research as well. So a lot of our students come in and they think, I'm a biology major, I must do biology research. And that's not true. You can find a lot of opportunities, a lot of transferable skills by going outside of your own box. And it can be a little bit more interesting even. To do that because no science stands on its own. You know, biology explains chemistry, chemistry explains biology, and vice versa. So you're going to be able to get skills regardless of kind of the lab that you're in. So the third one there is one of my favorite places on campus, the Advanced Computing Center for the Arts and Design. It's actually one of the few places where you really see interdisciplinary work between arts and sciences. So they do things like last year they created a virtual reality simulation for mass casualties. It's actually used to train first responders. So they worked with the National Institutes of Health and Wexner Medical Center on that. You'll see in the picture there, we actually had a visiting composer from the music school that we strapped into the motion capture lab. So there's a lot of things that you can do that, and it helps bridge the gaps in our own skill sets between scientists and artists as well. So here, let's look at some awards, some money. So 712 awards totaling $105 million in the fiscal year of 2018. So I can see your eyes glazing over from here. Now, students don't tend to see what that means for them. So you can see the breakdown of where that money is coming from. And I'm sure you're getting that our faculty are great and they're staying here and they're bringing in awards and they're able to do research that they want to do and their labs are well funded, so they're well stocked and they have the human and technological resources they need. And that's great. But for your student, what this is going to look like is it's going to mean that the faculty have opportunities to bring students in. There's going to be more space for you, more things that you can actually do. You're going to be able to get involved and get involved faster. It also means that when you're looking down the road to research jobs or to internships or to industry jobs, whatever you're going for, having faculty that already have those professional networks, that already have collaborations with the Department of Defense or with NASA or whatever the case may be, already having that professional network built in is really powerful. Networking and professional development in the sciences is not utilized as much as it should be, but it's so valuable. And this is a way that Ohio State kind of has that built in for you. So let's talk about the faculty here. So we have over 1,400 faculty members, so this is very much just scratching the surface. But you'll see here, Dr. Rich is a microbiologist. She does a lot studying gene to ecosystem interactions, but she also co-leads a team of 13 international researchers that are studying the thawing of permafrost. So of course, permafrost thaws, carbon goes into the atmosphere, which speeds up permafrost thawing, and you see where I'm going. So she's actually at the forefront internationally of researching this topic. Dr. Badu in the center, he's actually studying low-cost test strips for malaria, so amazing benefits to global health when that starts to become more frequently used. It's actually a kind of fast track to be contracted out to a clinical setting in the next few years. But he also is a great example of getting students into the lab early. So he has postdocs, graduate students, undergraduate students, and even high schoolers that come into his lab. So from the moment you step onto campus, you are prepared to be in a lab. A lot of students actually wait until later in their college career, but you don't need to do that. No one's going to hand you a sample of E. coli and say, run wild. They're going to teach you what you need to know. So you don't have to worry about that, and you should be looking for opportunities early. And then Dr. Laura Lopez on the side, she actually had several different fellowships with NASA before coming to Ohio State. Very impressive woman here. But she's also working on a team studying the feasibility of one of 4 space-based telescopes that's set to launch in the 2030s. So if you haven't picked up, we are a NASA premier institution. We do have some connections there. So she also this past year won a Cottrell Scholars Award. So that is an award given to 24 faculty members nationwide that are really combining student education and research. So we are very proud to have her win that this past year. And she was actually our 3rd faculty member at Ohio State to win that award. So going into more research labs. So yes, our faculty have their own passion projects, their own research that they're doing, but our labs actually work to forward education and research everywhere. So the Wasaki lab, actually it's a proteomic lab, they study proteomics there, but they are also a $6.8 million grant funded lab that's considered a biomedical technology research resource. So they are actually the first lab. They created and designed the technique of surface-induced dissociation, where you take a protein complex structure in a mass spectrometer and you slam it into a surface at high speed, which allows you to get more information closer to the natural state of that complex structure. So they designed that. It is a technique that solves a major problem in that area. So the Bird Polar and Climate Research Center has actually been around since the 1960s. It's kind of an institution in and of itself. And they do great work working with the state, doing their own projects. They have a great library, a great ice core collection, but they also do a lot to forward climate science around campus. So they will help different labs and researchers get human resources, technology resources. They will help with grant writing, all of these things, taking the skills and the information that they've learned over the past, however long, it's that 50, 60 years, but they'll take all of that information that they've learned over their tenure and they will actually contribute it back to the community. So if you have not been brainwashed already, we like research here and we like our students to do research. So I tend to tell my students that networking is one of the best ways to get into a lab. You know, ask your faculty, whether it be your actual professors or a researcher elsewhere on campus, ask them to talk about their research, get involved, show initiative. But if you need a little bit more guidance, we do also have the Office of Undergraduate Research and Creative Inquiry, and they can help you find those opportunities. They can also help you find funding to get into a lab or to do your own research. But one of the things that's really interesting is that they also work with students to help them present their projects. So they take people around the country. They also take students internationally to present their research projects, which is kind of a big draw for that office. So if you are interested in going abroad, that is one great way to do it. You can also do research, do internships, do work abroad as well. You can do the traditional semester abroad. You can do shorter 1 week to month-long trips. We have options for that as well to study and do actual classes abroad. You can do volunteer and service trips abroad. You can do abroad trips with some of our student organizations. There are a lot of ways that you can do this depending on what's feasible and what's interesting to you. I will say, if you are looking into this, I tell my students to try and start looking for scholarships and things about a year in advance, because there are a lot of scholarships that are available for this, and we can work to make sure that you are getting the funding you need, as long as you're letting us know early. So the Office of International Affairs is actually who Education Abroad programming goes through. So that is who you would contact. They do also put on workshops all through the year. You can go and get more information if you're interested. So the Honors and Scholars Program, we'll touch on this quickly. They are actually 2 separate programs. The Honors Program is our curricular program. It's going to be in the classroom. You may have more accelerated classes or you may have more projects to do. It does also have a research experience that is required. But again, the primary part is in the classroom. They do have some community experiences that you can take part in, but that is up to you to do. The Scholars Program is primarily an extracurricular program. So you would live with your Scholars Program in one of the assigned dorms. and you would do different programs throughout the week or month to complement whatever the theme is for that program. So there are 17 of these programs. I run the STEM Scholars program. We also have biological sciences, health sciences, and 2 engineering programs. But we also have things like arts, international affairs. We have one for advocacy. We have one for entrepreneurship. So there's a lot of different experiences that you can get, but they're all surrounding those individual themes. So if you want to do both, you do technically have to come in as a scholar and then apply to honors later, because scholars can only be selected during that initial application period before November 1st. So when you apply by that early action deadline, you can select to be reviewed for scholars and then be selected. Honors you can apply into during that time as well and come in as an honors student, or you can come in and apply to honors starting after your first semester here. There are a lot of options there. If you are at all interested in either of these programs, please do email me and I'm happy to either answer them if I can. Each scholars program is very different and the honors program is very different from the scholars. So I'm also happy to get you in touch with the Honors and Scholars Center if you have more questions. So just touching on some courses, we have thousands of courses that you can take. So I really want to focus on the ways that we actually have instruction. So the HIV course at the top, it's actually team taught by a virologist and a historian. So you're going to get the science side, the virology, the epidemiology, all of that sort of information. But you're also going to get the socio-cultural and political historical perspective from the historian as well. So it's going to be very well-rounded. The DNA fingerprinting workshop, it's one where we actually teach you about forensic science technique, but then we take you out into the Columbus Public Schools and we allow you to step into the mentorship and the leader role much, much earlier. So you'll actually be facilitating workshops with younger students. The introduction to the practice of statistics, we actually are going to give you some real data to analyze. So you're going to be learning these techniques and immediately applying them. And then the Ohio Birds course is one where we're going to teach you about the biology of birds, but then we're going to take you out into the community and let you see it in action right away. So you're going to be making meaning immediately during that class. I also want to talk about student resources. So this is one of the areas where I like to say we have so much to offer you that it can actually be a little confusing. So just find one person on campus, whether that be a program manager like me, an advisor, a faculty member, whomever works for you, and ask them when you need help. But here are some examples of the support that we do have. So we have, within our student life office, we have things like housing, dining, health and wellness, because this campus does become your home. So whether you're a commuter student or an on-campus student, you spend a lot of time here, and we have different resources to help make sure that you're comfortable. We also have academic support and tutoring. So each one of our departments has its own tutoring. Some of it is free, some of it is paid for depending on your own needs. We do have options in both. We also have the Dentist Learning Center, which is one of my favorite resources because it's not content tutoring, it is actual skills tutoring. So if you are a procrastinator, it can help you with time management, prioritization, things of that nature. It can help you figure out what studying means because it's not just reading over your notes. So things like that can come from the dentist learning. So whether you excelled in high school, whether you struggled in high school, that's going to be a resource that can be really beneficial for every student. We also have things like the Multicultural Center, and I'm even going to include the Wellness Center here as well, because for a lot of you, this is going to be the first time you're stepping out on your own, and that can mean a lot for identity development and questioning and all of these sorts of things. So we have options to help support you regardless of how you're identifying. We have something here to give you a little guidance and support. I do just want to highlight the Career and Professional Success Center because it really clearly shows the different ways that you can get support. So if you are a student that knows what questions to ask, you just want a resume reviewed, or you have questions about an industry, you can actually set up a career coaching appointment where you will work one-on-one with a coach. You can get those questions asked and answered and move on. If you are someone who doesn't know the difference between a CV and a resume, or you don't know what an interview actually looks like, or any of these sorts of big questions, you don't know what questions to ask kind of thing. We do also have signature programming where workshops are being put on and you can just go and learn. You don't have to be the one driving the conversation. So it doesn't matter what developmental level you're at. We have opportunities where we will meet you wherever you are and we will help bring you up from there. And that's going to be universal across all of our support systems here on campus. So here are some success stories, different things that you can do with your degree. So I was an undergraduate student at Ohio State. I studied biology and physics. I was pre-med. And I got to my senior year and realized that pre-med really wasn't for me, especially not at that point in my life. So my first job coming out of college was actually working in fashion merchandising. So completely different direction than I expected to be going. And within a couple years, I decided I wanted to go back to grad school for education so I could work with college students. So I made a 180 from where I thought I was going to be. And the point I want to make is that your college career here, your classes, your experiences outside of the classroom are not just giving you content to use. They're actually going to teach you the skills you need, regardless of if you pick something at 18 and go that direction, you're going to be fully prepared. But if you pick something at 18, change it at 22, change it at 52, you're going to have the skills that you need to make that change without having to do potentially extra work. I didn't have to take any extra classes before going on to grad school in a different program. We're really going to make sure that you have everything you need to make those changes. So Buckeye tradition, Buckeye life here. So Columbus is actually the 14th largest city in the nation. So we have access to top-ranked hospitals, to Fortune 500 companies, to research, to politics, to all of these different opportunities that you can get involved in. And I know, at least for people in the area like myself, we tend to forget about that because it's our backyard, but it actually is a big city. There are also over 1,000 student organizations. So there's something for pretty much everyone, but if you can't find it, if you don't see it, you do also have the opportunity to create a student organization on your own. And then I like to say that there is no other place where you can wear a school t-shirt in a foreign country and still have someone recognize it and scream OH at you. The Buckeye family is a family. It's a weird family, but it's a wonderful family that you get to be a part of. So important dates. So the early action deadline, especially for those of you interested in any of the engineering programs, if you're interested in special programs like honors and scholars, you really need to hit that November 1 deadline. But it's also just great to hit that deadline regardless of what you're interested in. So the regular decision deadline is February 1st, as well as the FAFSA deadline. And for those of you who have already applied, the acceptance fee date, deadline date is May 1st. So you want to make sure that you keep that in mind as you're making your college decisions. So Ohio State does accept the common application and the coalition application. So you get to choose between those. And you'll see our undergraduate application website there if you want to get started or just get some more information. So here's my information again. Beckley.47@osu.edu is my email. I am more than happy to help you get connected with someone if you have a question, or if I can answer that question myself. So please do take advantage of that. Otherwise, thank you so much for sitting with me and learning about the College of Arts and Sciences. Hope to see you soon.